tear apart the constitution that came from the people of Zimbabwe and was voted by 3 million Zimbabweans after a thorough consultation, taking note of each and every needs of the people of Zimbabwe. This constitution was done under the government of National Unity, GNU, and it consisted of both the opposition as well as the ruling party that particular period. And the people of Zimbabwe expected this constitution to be aligned because it was reflective of the interest of the people of Zimbabwe. But we have got a desperate president, that is Emerson Mnangagwa, who sees this constitution as a threat to his various ambitions, and he is deciding to get rid of this constitution by using just a single bill. Not only is he doing so, he is also using unorthodox ways of changing this constitution. According to Douglas Monzora, he is of the opinion that the referendum at this point in time is unavoidable in Zimbabwe, and I'll be taking you through his submission. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So this is what Douglas Monzora has penned down. He says, it is no longer debatable that be a faction championing the current attempts to amend the constitution wants to avoid a referendum at all costs, while they argue that a referendum is unnecessary under the current constitution. The real reason is the certainty of defeat by Zimbabweans in the referendum. Minister Ziyambi and Honorable Mnyaradzi Paul Mangwana argue that there is no need to subject the bill to a referendum because it does not amend the Bill of Rights. What that means is that they agree that if the amendment were to amend the Bill of Rights, then a referendum will be necessary. In terms of Section 3286, a constitutional bill that seeks to amend the Bill of Rights must be subjected to a referendum within 3 months after it has received a vote of 2/3 majority in both Houses of Parliament. Only where the majority of voters in the referendum approve, it will be submitted to the president to be signed into law. Now the question is whether this amendment seeks to amend the Bill of Rights or not. It is important to note that an amendment can be made in two ways. One is expressly and the other by implication. Our Bill of Rights starts from Section 48 and ends with Section 87 of the Constitution. Needless to say, therefore, that Section 67 is within the Bill of Rights. Section 67 starts by giving every Zimbabwean citizen's right to free, fair, and regular elections. For any elective public office. The presidency is an elective public office. The right to elect is not confined to any group of individuals, but to every citizen, every Zimbabwean rather. Section 67 goes on to provide that every Zimbabwean citizen above the age of 18 has the right to vote in all elections and referendums, and does so in secret. For the sake of completeness, this right is given to every Zimbabwean, and not only Zimbabweans holding a particular office. The current bill, however, provides that the president will only be elected by members of parliament. Therefore, by confining voters for president only to members of parliament, the amendment has changed the provision that every adult Zimbabwean has the right to vote for the president. In other words, the law has been changed to read thus: every Zimbabwean has the right to vote for any elective public office, provided that when it comes to the election of president, only those Zimbabweans who are members of parliament shall have the right to vote. This, by implication, fundamentally changes the law, Bill of Rights, as contained in Section 67 of the Constitution, by the very argument of ZANU-PF, Mangwana and Ziyambi. The bill must be subjected to referendum because it amends the Bill of Rights. The Constitution provides in Section 3287 that if there is an amendment, the effect of which is to extend the length of time that a person may hold or occupy any public office, then the incumbent shall not benefit the extension. It is not in dispute that the amendment seeks to change the length of time of the current president and the parliament from 5 years to 7 years. The amendment also seeks to make the current president and the parliament to benefit from the extension. Therefore, the proposed amendment seeks to amend Section 3287 by implication when it comes to the current president and the current members of parliament. That change requires a referendum because in terms of Section 3289, when amending the section, it must be amended using the same procedure as in the Bill of Rights. That means it has to be subjected to referendum. There is also a final problem with the current bill, that it contains both an extension clause and a clause requiring the incumbents to benefit from such extension in the same bill. However, the Constitution says in Section 3289 that the two amendments cannot be put in the same bill. That makes the amendment inherently illegal. Therefore, by their own arguments, Minister Ziyambi and ZANU-PF cannot avoid a referendum on the bill as it currently stands. If the referendum on the extension of 5 to 7 years succeed, then there has to be second referendum if the current president and members of parliament are to benefit. So these are the, I think, very, very insightful submissions by the leader of MDC, that is Douglas Monzora, who have said, okay, this constitutional amendment bill number 3, it will affect the section on the Bill of Rights, because the Constitution on the Bill of Rights states categorically one of the rights that are granted to the people of Zimbabwe is that every Zimbabwean above the age of 18 shall have the right to vote for a president. To vote for a president, there is that right on the Bill of Rights. So now they are changing, they are taking away the right from the people of Zimbabwe to vote for their president, giving that right to the members of parliament. Of course, they may argue and say, but the members of parliament are voted by the very Zimbabweans. Take note, the members of parliament are voted by Zimbabweans not to change the constitution in a manner they are doing, not to introduce this illegal and dubious bill in a manner they are doing. They were voted to hold the executive to account and to align the laws of the land with the Constitution of 2013. When it comes to changing the Constitution, specifically in such a manner that it will affect the Bill of Rights, the people of Zimbabwe have to rubber stamp that. And also, this the bill also affects the two terms that have been noted. in the Constitution that the president only serves 2 terms. And by so doing, it actually affects the time Mnangagwa is going to serve. His term is going to be lengthened, and his term is going to be more than 10 years. In that regard, that bill is supposed to go to the Zimbabweans. It is not the parliament is not empowered. The parliament today will be undertaking an illegal process if they attempt to change that bill. And also, Douglas Monzora says also the incumbent is not supposed to benefit from the changes that affects his term of office. And Mnangagwa is going to benefit, and these bills must not be together. They shouldn't be one bill addressing. This time around, it is addressing 2 issues. The matter of the Bill of Rights, according to Douglas Monzora, and I think I agree with that. It is also affecting the length of time the president is going to serve, and also the president being a beneficiary, which means we need to have 3 referendums, because we need to amend the Bill of Rights to take away the power from the people of Zimbabwe to vote for the president. And to me, it's 3 referendums, but Mnangagwa is evading this. And these are the reasons that have been advanced by Douglas Monzora, that in that regard, it is unavoidable to actually go through a referendum if the process is to be actually rubber-stamped as a legal process, unless if it would go down in the history of Zimbabwe as a thuggsterism managed and a process that uses thuggsterism also approaches. Thank you very much for watching us. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button